They should not be called the LGB Alliance because they also do not give a shit about bisexual people. They don't really care about gay rights either.
Being a lesbian doesn't mean that you have to be a woman. Like that, the term is fluid.
We look forward to the day we can #reclaim pride for the gays and lesbians for whom the event was originally established. This is very wrong. They should not be called the LGB Alliance because they also do not give a shit about bisexual people. They don't really care about gay rights either. It's just all about getting rid of trans people. You can't reclaim something that was never altered in the first place. Like, there is no difference. Pride has become bigger and safer as society has accepted the LGBT plus community, but they were not just started by and for cis gay people. There are a lot of trans people involved. There are a lot of bi people involved.
What do you think of that? Does it make you angry?
No, not really. I feel sorry for this girl. I mean, she's a lesbian, absolutely in flight from the idea of being a lesbian, and
very
also,
influential.
I mean, there's tons of we've got in our policy team, and in our our volunteers who help to run the organisation. We've got loads of bi people, and if people want to look on our website, in fact on our YouTube account, we've got a really good film that we made, Bisexuals Bite Back, with some of our bisexual supporters. So that's a load of rubbish. But this, I can see why I try and empathise with these people, and I can see why they hate us, because the truth is their enemy.
Yes.
And it's much easier to give your enemy a kind of a human face and to think that it's a nasty person that doesn't like you, rather than a concept such as reality. It's much harder to fight against truth and reality than it is to think, LGB Alliance, they're absolutely awful, and pile onto them on Twitter. But at our conference, we have one of our speakers is Jamie Reed, the whistleblower. I don't know if you know about her.
Oh, I can't wait to meet her. That's great.
Yeah, she's coming, and obviously she worked in a gender clinic. She was all for the LGBT, kind of really positive about gender affirming care. She believed in it all, and then she saw what was happening with kids, and she just could not continue. And she had to hold quite a senior position and was there for a while. So she's going to be talking about that. But interestingly, her partner is a trans man who transitioned, began to transition 15 years ago, something like that, who's just announced yesterday that she is going to stop taking testosterone, has realised through this process that actually she was just trying to escape her own unhappiness with this physical transformation, and that she remains the same person inside.
Wow.
But she's just very worried now about the health consequences. She's got problems with her kidneys, she's diabetic. All these consequences of taking a very, very powerful wrong sex hormone for years, not good for you.
No.
But that's interesting. So I think that's going to be one of the best sessions at conference, like how, because it includes, views of a detransitioner, but also a whistleblower who was all for it. She didn't come into it cynically, like, maybe I did, or maybe you did, who knows. But it's interesting to hear someone's story from the inside, like what made them be strong enough, I suppose, to say, no, I've realised this is wrong. So she said that's going to be amazing, I think. But this person here, quite compelling in a way as a narrative, because she's quite bright and articulate and doesn't look weird.
Has millions of followers too. Very influential.
Yeah. Yeah, and sensible. I'm sure she's got lots of sensible things to say, and I hope that she is happy in her transition as well. Sincerely.
Yeah. Same.
So,
would you like to see any more?
Go on, one more.
Being a lesbian doesn't mean that you have to be a woman. Like that, the term is fluid.
Some people would fight you in the comments.
I know. Oh, people are going to be so mad at me. I know.
I just watched a whole Jubilee video, and it was like conservative lesbians versus like leftist lesbians. And that was like one of the hugest points of contention was, can non-binary genderqueer people still be included in the lesbian umbrella? Conservatives obviously were saying no. Leftists were saying yes. And in my opinion, I think like labels are very personal to people. And I think they evolve and change, and like sometimes it like doesn't actually feel right for you, and then you're like, oops, maybe am I proving you right? I don't know. I did the same thing. Like I was like, I feel like I'm a bisexual lesbian, and like so many people got really pissed in the comments, and I'm like, honestly, you might have been kind of right. Like I don't actually feel that anymore, but it was part of my journey.
People get upset because they have their own definition.
Yes.
And they have been like, okay, well, my definition of lesbian is this. So if you're saying that you have a different definition, then that makes me wrong. So you must be wrong.
Right.
And now I'm going to make sure that I'm going to change your mind because I don't want to be wrong.
Well, I can't help thinking that all these young people talking like this in such a knowledgeable way about sex are really quite sexually inexperienced, because I think at their age, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about it. We were out doing it and meeting people and having lots of partners and getting experiences. And they just strike me, you know, when very young people talk as though they're hugely knowledgeable about a subject. And I just don't think these girls have had many relationships or had many experiences. And they sound naive and deluded.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned, the queer theory is there's no absolute truth. So it just seems so redundant that they just want they want every term to mean everything. 'Cause they want the term lesbian to just be, oh, well, it's just your unique impression of what it is. But then what's the point of having the word in the first place? You know, one of them said, I'm a bisexual lesbian. Like, what are you gaining from that? I think I see it as now status among these people is not only having a label, but trying to claim that you have this kind of profound spiritual sense of gender that goes beyond the average person. And I think they do that to try. It's like a kind of religious, you know, they're a religious figure in the cults, and they want to be the one.
A transcendence, isn't it, above you and your bodily urges, which are really unpleasant to these people. They often give off a kind of a disdain about the actuality of sex or relationships. They're quite almost a kind of a repulsion around it. And yeah, they're transcendent, aren't they? That they are so in touch with the meaning of the words and the meaning of gender. Yeah, but they want to transcend their bodies, and yet these are the people who have awful operations to mangle them. So contradictory. It's really
Becoming your true self, right?
Yeah,
you were always a woman. You're always non-binary. Now you just have to get your body to match.
yeah, totally.